Hey everyone, welcome back to part 2 of Grant and Tyler's mid-season's greetings. Grant, are you excited to answer some more questions?
I'm super excited.
All right, let's get into it. What are some ideas of how you could use pneumatics in terms of this year's game elements?
So for VRC over-under, the number one way that teams have been using pneumatics this year, because of the way we changed up the motor rules, is placing as many actuations or as many mechanisms as possible onto pneumatics, and then devoting as many motors as possible to their drivetrain. So some more specific mechanisms, I love the drop-down brake pads. That's something that has been kind of a subtle thing in some years, but this year a lot of teams are using it to stabilize themselves while match loading. There's also been a lot more teams doing what we call a PTO, or a power takeoff. You take your drivetrain motors or any other motors, and you have like essentially a shifting gear mechanism, usually they're pneumatics, to shift that motor's power from one mechanism, such as your drivetrain, into another mechanism, such as a climber. The pneumatics just came out for VEX IQ, so we haven't seen a ton of robots using them yet. I would say, though, that the potential and the possibilities for them is very similar to what I said for over-under, where if you can replace more actuations or more mechanisms with pneumatic actuators and devote more motors to things like drive or endgame parking, you will probably start performing pretty well in full volume. Full volume is very much an optimization game. And so I really think the teams who are going to be successful this season are the teams who are able to speed up their drive and speed up their pathing. And one of the best ways to do that is going to be putting more motors on your drive. And one of the best ways to do that is going to be putting more pneumatics on your other mechanisms.
Is there a specific robot that is utilized for the competition, or can we make one as long as it uses VEX parts and a brain?
Yes, you can make your own robots for the VEX competition. That's the coolest part about the VEX competition, is the sky's the limit, right? Teams can develop a robot that looks any way they want, that behaves any way they want, that solves any particular challenge that they're having, using the VEX construction systems, right? If teams are struggling with figuring out where to start, or they don't know like what to build right away, we do release what we call hero bots for both VEX IQ Full Volume and VRC Over Under, and all games, where it's basically an entry-level robot that will perform some of the tasks in the game, sometimes even most of the tasks in the game, but they might not perform all of the tasks, or they might not perform them particularly well, right? And so it kind of gives you a starting point, like, hey, this robot will contribute to an alliance, it will score a decent amount of points, might even rank semi-okay, but you'll quickly start noticing, like, hey, I wish X could happen faster, or I wish I could add Y onto this. And it'll basically serve as a really good platform for you to start with, and then iterate on from there and learn from it, and, go from there.
Yeah, it's a great way to see like how the game is played if they've never seen it before. Thanks again, everyone, for submitting your questions.
And we'll see you in part 3.